Hey everybody, you found the Hillbilly Voodoo channel. Well, today's a pretty cool day for me. I got my first piece of fan mail. So let's open this up. It's pretty heavy. I hope it's a piece of fan mail and not just a pipe bomb. But let's open it up and find out. So I've only been doing this for 4 months and people are sending me stuff already, and it's kind of neat. Well, I hope it's kind of neat. If it's not, you're going to watch me blow up here. Remember, kids, if you send pipe bombs in the mail, don't put your return address on them. Got a letter here. Oh wow, those are pretty cool. So let's see what this says here. We've been watching your show for a while now and really like your show. I was just replacing the carbide blades on my planer and remembered you using saw teeth for your lathe. You know, saw teeth for my lathe tools, I guess. I hope you can make something out of these, maybe for your lathe or for something else. Keep up the good work. We like your show. Anonymous21. P.S. My mom watches you too and thinks that you're cute. Oh wow, that's kind of cool. So, let's see what we got here. We got a whole crap load of carbides off of his planer, obviously. Let's see if you can see those. Square carbides. A whole bunch of them here. They seem fairly sharp too. A little few chips out of them, but hell of a lot better than the saw teeth I've been using, that's for damn sure. Well, thanks a lot, Anonymous21. The only thing I usually get in the mail is bills, so this is awesome. You know, I think I'm gonna make a tool holder for these right now and use them, or at least see if I can use them. I'm pretty sure I can. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I could figure out how to use them. Pretty neat. Well, let's go find something that we can mount these on and see what we can do with them. There's a little bit better look at what they are. I don't know if you can see them there or not. Light's kind of funky in here, but everybody's gonna have to excuse this seriously scratchy, squeaky voice because I got a hell of a sore throat today and I don't know why. But anyways, let's go find some metal and that maybe looks like a lathe piece and put these on there. I found us a piece of square stock here. It's about the same size as the lathe tools that I'm using now. I'm not really sure what size it is. It's like 1/2 inch. So, what are we going to do here? I think we'll take this carbide, maybe mount it, drill a hole through it so we can bolt it on there. I guess I could braze them on, but then I wouldn't be able to take them back off again when they get chipped or dull. But we'll stick it. Let's mark it up here a little bit. You got a fairly clean piece of steel like this, you can mark it up with a Sharpie, and then when you scribe lines on it, you can see the scribes in the Sharpie. It's kind of like liquid bluing, but the cheap version of it. So color that all up, just like our kindergarten coloring class. Get most of it on our fingers and some of it on our project. So if we put this carbide on an angle, like pointy end pointing out that way, then we can use a cutting surface on either side of that, and then maybe use the cutting surface on there for like a boring bar or something. So let's, if my lathe is turning like this and I'm going that way, then the cutter will be pushing like that, right? Pushing against, so let's put it upside down, put the thick part out, like that, and let's grab a line there. And let's do a little circle here so we know where to drill a hole through. That should work. So if we let's measure how thick this is. Because we kind of want the carbide to be flat with the top of this, so work it there on the sides. Yeah. I don't know if you guys can see the lines on there or not, but we got a line on an angle like this so that that carbide will sit on an angle like that. We can't carve out a V because all I got is a grinder, so we'll just grind it down so that this carbide is going to sit level or flush with the surface of this. So first we'll drill a hole through so that we can actually put a bolt of some type or a screw through to hold that carbide down. So let's go out to the drill press. We'll center punch it and then poke a hole through there with the size of, for the size of tap and bolt that we're going to use. I don't know what size we'll use, but we'll find something here. Got our hole drilled through there, so now we'll tap that or thread that so that we can run a bolt through there. Try to run this tap in here nice and straight. This is mild steel, by the way. It's nothing special. It was a piece left over from building my gate. A little bit of goober on there. There's a reason why I'm leaving my vise loose like that. I have a tendency to overpower taps and snap them off. And if I leave my vise a little bit loose like that, then the vise flexes and twists a little bit quicker than the tap snaps off. So works for me. Don't know if it'll work for you, if you want to try it or not. You just got to be kind of on the ball with it moving around. Wondering what kind of ghetto tap handle I got here. This is a nut that is used to join together two bolts. It's just a long one. You got a hole drilled through it. I got two bolts threaded into either side of it. You tighten the bolt up, squeezes down on the tap, it does its thing. And chances are pretty good that you're going to break that tap before you break those 1/2-inch bolts. So, got a hole poked in there now and threaded. And I found this nice little stainless steel cap screw here. That threads in there. So now we should be able to attach that carbide on there. Take our little carbide, our little cap screw, and screw it down there and see what it looks like. Now you remember we scribed a line here before. We're going to grind this down so that this carbide is flush with the surface here. So we'll grind it on an angle and grind it down. It looks like it's going to be in a good position there. So take a little bit off with the grinder, and then we will finish it up with a nice coarse file. Get it a little bit more precision. We do some things a little bit precision, not a lot of them, but as precision as you can get with a grinder and a file, I guess. So we'll take it down with the grinder with a really thin cutoff wheel. Take it down to just about to the lines that we scribed before, and then we'll clean it all up with a file. Looks pretty close to our line there. See what kind of fitment we got here. Well, it looks like it's flush. I'll screw that down, and then I'm going to profile off the sides here with the grinder, and we'll go test it out. Now you can see, or can you? Pretty fuzzy. You can see the angle that we've ground on there, and you can see that it's flush. So now we're just gonna take those corners off with the grinder and give it a little bit of downward profile and go try it out. So this here's the tool that we ended up with. I sanded a little bit of the mill scale off, and I have profiled the tip of it, rounded it off, so the carbide actually sticks out past the end of the bit a bit. I don't know if that was a super awesome idea or not, but you need the cutting edge to hit first. Carbide is super brittle, and if you're cutting air, like missing spaces, it has a tendency to chip. And if you're cutting slow speed, like my tiny little lathe does, it has a tendency to chip and break. So we've got this tool made now. Now let's stick it in the lathe and see if it works. Just a disclaimer for everybody out there thinking about sharpening carbide. Carbide is a very nasty thing to create into dust. It's almost like breathing in Well, it's probably akin to asbestos. It turns into these fine, tiny little shards like glass, and it will seriously mess you up. Might not do it today, but down the road, you're probably really going to regret grinding it. So if you ever do, wear a really good mask and wet hone it. I use a diamond hone if I ever do sharpen carbide, which I've been known to do in the past. But yeah, use your brains. If you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. And if you don't know what you're doing and you want to do it, then do some research and figure out how to do it so it's not going to kill you. Or at least so that you'll die with a smile on your face or something. Well, let's stick this thing in the lathe and see if it's actually going to work or not. We're going to test out our new carbide tool here on some of the absolute nastiest material that I have ever turned. It is nickel weld on hardened steel with cast steel. That's how you weld nickel, or that's how you weld cast to hardened steel, is with nickel rod. And I don't know what it turns into, but it's like friggin' diamond. You're actually supposed to grind it, not cut it with a cutting tool, because it has a tendency to just snap cutting tools like they're breadsticks. And it doesn't really cut very well either. It just, I don't know what it does. It just kind of bounces. But anyways, we're going to put this thing through a hell of a torture test here and see if it's actually going to do it or not. Take extremely small cuts because we're cutting a lot of air, and like I said before, carbide doesn't like cutting air. Well, that looks like it's going to be a real thing there, guys. That carbide held up really nice, and it actually cut that weld almost like it was just hardened steel, not this nasty whatever the hell this stuff turns into. Yeah, so this is the part of the adapter for our PT Cruiser build. If you're liking this content, you should probably subscribe and go back and check out the channel and see all our other cool builds. And yeah, give me a thumbs up, and maybe excuse me, give that Anonymous 21 dude a thumbs up too, because he sent me some pretty cool stuff here, and it's definitely gonna, well, it's gonna be put to use. So until next time, use what you got, or hey, maybe use what somebody gave you to make what you want. And I'll see you guys in the next video.